Hi, my name is Melissa van Dijk, and in this video you will learn how to properly use the Paula's Choice 2% BHA liquid exfoliant and combine it with the niacinamide serum. Now, using those two together, this is an excellent combination which can also help you to gently exfoliate the skin, to unclog your pores, to minimize your pores, and to even out and brighten your skin tone. So you can use them together in the morning and or evening, depending on your preference, depending also on your skin tolerance and your skin needs. And I will get into the specifics when also moving on to the certain step. Now, I prepared a little skincare routine so that I can show you what you can use before applying the exfoliant and serums, as well as what you can use afterwards, so that you also know the exact order of application, that you know how much you can use of each product, so that it also feels good and comfortable on the skin. Now, before we are getting started with the application of the BHA exfoliant as well as niacinamide, we're going to start off with step number 1. This is a step, please do not skip it. And this is also washing your face with a gentle and suitable cleanser for your skin type. Now, I'm going to use the Ordinary Squalane Cleanser, which is a cleanser that I personally really like, and it's also suitable for all skin types. So if you're new to cleansers, this may also be an option for you. However, if you have a cleanser at home that you truly love, go ahead and use that one. A cleanser can help you to remove any excess oil, dirt, leftovers of your makeup, leftovers of your sunscreen, so that you have a freshly washed and cleaned face before moving on to the next skincare products which you're going to leave on the skin. So step number 1 is definitely a step that shouldn't be skipped. Now, as I'm going to use the Ordinary Squalane Cleanser, it has a balm-like texture, which I'm also going to apply on my dry skin, massage it into the skin, and then rinse it with water. So, and once you're done with massaging the cleanser into the skin, you can also go ahead and rinse it off with lukewarm water. One tip that I can share with you is also using a fresh cloth in between, which can help you to remove the cleanser a bit better to make sure that there's no residue left. And you can also wet this cloth and then go gently all over your face, so that you also get everything off before moving on to the next step. So, and now you can take a fresh towel and pat the skin dry. So now, once you're done with the cleansing part, the next step is going to be optional, which you can include, but you don't have to. This depends also on your preference and also if you have that product at home or not. And your second step would be also applying a toner. Now again, it is optional, but a toner can already act like a liquid moisturizer to also moisturize and also hydrates the skin, plus also nourishes the skin as well as also soothes the skin. So when using a toner, go ahead and use a toner that you personally truly love, that you may already have at home. One that I personally really like is by Paula's Choice, and it's the Enrich Calming Toner. That's one that works really well for my skin. And when also using this toner specifically, you have to give it a good shake. So always also read the directions on how you should use your toner, if you also may use a different one as I do. Of course, there are so many toners on the market, so go ahead and use that one that also suits you the best. So now, when applying a toner, go ahead and you can either apply it with your hands or also with a fresh cotton pad if you like to. This may also depend on the texture of your toner. Some toners have a little bit of a thicker texture, where applying it with your hands may be a bit easier. Whereas if they have a water-like thinner texture, using a cotton pad may be also a little bit more beneficial, since then you can also gently swipe it across your face and neck area. Now, when also using a toner for the first time, I recommend using about a coin size amount. If you're already used to using a toner, you may want to use a bit more. I recommend starting off with less, see how far you can come, how it also feels on the skin, and if you want to add more, you always can do so. However, if you have already used too much, you have it already on your face and neck, then it's a bit difficult to also reduce the amount, since you already have it on your face. And then you can also go ahead and already gently swipe it across your face and neck. Please make sure that when using a toner that it's a soothing, hydrating and nourishing toner that doesn't include any high percentages of hydroxy acids like AHA or BHA. Since we're already using in this specific routine the Paula's Choice 2% BHA liquid exfoliant. So it is important that you're choosing a toner that also doesn't include any of them. For example, the ordinary glycolic acid toning solution is not really a toner, it's like the 2-in-1 where it already exfoliates the skin at the same time. The Pixi Glow Tonic Toner has also 5% of glycolic acid in it. It is not really a soothing toner, so therefore you have to be aware of what it also includes so that you're not going to over exfoliate your skin. So, and once you're done with the application with your toner, again, this is optional, you're going to leave it on the skin, there's no need to wash it off. Now, as the third step, after you're done with the application of your toner, you now can also move on to the Paula's Choice 2% BHA liquid exfoliant. Now, BHA is a beta-hydroxy acid, which is also salicylic acid, that can help you to gently exfoliate the skin and to deeply also unclog the pores. So if you have troubles with congestion, such as whiteheads, blackheads, or a little bit more of bumpy skin where you have loads of the skin that's going to build up underneath the skin, then you may also want to go for a BHA, and it's also suitable for sensitive as well as oily skin types, but also in generally speaking, since it's also suitable for sensitive skin types, it is also suitable for all skin types, but it mainly also can help with those concerns. So choosing the right products for your specific concerns can also help you to improve your skin. Now, with the BHA liquid exfoliant, I'm going to apply it again with a fresh cotton pad. You can also get the gel version of it, which I have behind me. When using the gel version, you may want to use your fingers for it. However, since I'm going to use the liquid exfoliant, this is more like a thinner water-like texture. I personally prefer to also use a cotton pad for it rather than using it with my hands, so that I'm not going to spill too much product, but still are also able to gently swipe it across my face and neck. Now, when it comes to how much you should use, again, I recommend starting off with about a coin size amount so that you have a feeling of how much you have already used. If this shouldn't feel enough, you can always add more. Similar to the toner application, try to find the right balance. Not everyone has the same needs of how much product you should use, so therefore starting off with a coin size amount is a great start, and based on that you can adjust it on how it also feels the best on the skin. Please do not use too much. Now, when using the BHA liquid exfoliant, again, swipe it gently across your face and neck. With this one, you can use it on your eye contour, but please make sure to not get it into your eyes. Do not use it on your eyelids, and do not bring it too close to your eyelashes. So that's really important to note. And you can go ahead and use it gently also on the eye contour if you like to. If your main concern may also be a little bit of milia, which are the white dots. This can also help you to get rid of those, as well as also then the rest of your skin, to make sure that you can also unclog those pores and get a little bit more of an evener skin texture as well. Now, when using BHA for the first time, start off with using it once per week. See how your skin responds to it. Better off would be doing a patch test at first. If you want to know how you can do a patch test, I have a video for you in the top right corner, which I can link as well. Doing a patch test of each new product is very important so that you know how you can also see if your skin is going to react with the product or not before using it all over your face and neck. Once you're done with the patch test and it went well, you can start using it also on your face and neck. Now, one thing I do want to address is Paula's Choice basically recommends that you're going to start off with using it every other day, and then you may be able to also use it after a while daily. However, this depends on your skin tolerance, this depends on your skin concerns, if you have a little bit more of a sensitive skin, if you have a little bit more of a resistant skin type. So those are the things that you have to keep in mind. Some people do well with only exfoliating 3 times per week, whereas others can also handle it daily. So this is something that you have to figure out for yourself. I can't tell you how often you should do it since this is individual. However, the best way to start off with using BHA, especially if when using it for the first time, is using it once per week at first to see how your skin is going to respond to it, and then you can start off with like every other day. As I already mentioned, using it for example for a while 3 times per week. After you've done that for a few weeks, you may want to increase it to 4 times per week. See how your skin is going to respond during that time and see what feels the best. If you feel like your skin feels a little bit more irritated, reduce the frequency of how often you're going to exfoliate the skin. If you feel like your skin can also take it a little bit more often, then you can also increase the frequency. So this is something where you have to find the balance for yourself. However, I recommend doing a patch test and start off slowly before increasing it. And then once you also figured out what works the best for you, you can also keep on going with your routine. Now, using an exfoliant such as the 2% of BHA is your third step. So you have cleanser, toner, leave-on exfoliant. And as I already mentioned, it is a leave-on exfoliant. So you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. So I just have applied it with a cotton pad and I'm going to leave it on the skin. Now, once I'm done with the application of the leave-on exfoliant, you now can move on to your serum, basically also treatment. And this would be, in this case, also niacinamide. Now, you can use any of the niacinamide serums that you may have at home that you truly love. Go ahead and use that one. 2 serums that I personally really like is also the niacinamide from Paula's Choice, or also the niacinamide from The Ordinary. Those are ones that I personally really like. Of course, they have a price difference, but it basically also depends on your budget, how much you want to spend on for a product, as well as also maybe the formulation, what feels better on the skin. For example, The Ordinary may feel a little bit more sticky and is therefore but also a bit cheaper, definitely more affordable, whereas the Paula's Choice one feels really great on the skin and it also feels a little bit more luxurious, I would say, but then you also pay for it. So you have to keep in mind what's your budget, what do you want to achieve. Both include niacinamide, which also will give you those benefits that niacinamide offers, since this is also the active ingredient, and this can help you to minimize your pores, to regulate the oil production, to also brighten and even out your skin tone, since it's also a lightening ingredient. So those are the things that you have to keep in mind. And since we're already using the Paula's Choice 2% BHA liquid exfoliant, which I just have applied, I'm also going to stick with the Paula's Choice products mainly, and I'm going to choose the Paula's Choice Niacinamide Booster. Again, both of them also do include 10% of niacinamide. Now, when using your niacinamide serum, I recommend using between 1 to 3 drops. First of all, it depends on the texture. The Ordinary niacinamide has a little bit more of a thicker texture, whereas the Paula's Choice niacinamide has a little bit more of a thinner texture. So see, first of all, what niacinamide you have at home, or which one you want to get. And based on that, you can also adjust it, how much you're going to use on your face. I usually recommend starting off with 1 to 3 drops for the entire face and neck area. If you feel the need to add more, you can always add more like very slowly, like 1 or 2 drops more, see how this feels, etc. So that you also find the right balance, rather than using already too much and you can't really get it off since you have already applied it on your face. So I'm going to stick with 3 drops with the Paula's Choice Niacinamide. I like to use it in the palm of my hand and then start patting it into the skin. And once I'm done with patting it into the skin, I gently like to also blend it into the skin. You can also use niacinamide on the eye contour. Just make sure to not get it too close to the eye area itself and do not get it into your eyes. That's all what's really also important when applying it. And once you're done with the application, again, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. So you have cleanser, toner, leave-on exfoliant, your serum treatment, and then you can also move on to the next step, which of course is optional, and this also depends on your skin type as well as your skin concerns, and this would also be adding a moisturizer on top. Now I'm going to use the Ordinary Natural Moisturizing Factors. That's one that I truly really like. If you have a different one at home, go ahead and use that moisturizer if you feel the need to use also one. You don't have to use a moisturizer as your last step. Since, for example, if you have also a little bit more of an oilier skin type, you produce already so much oil that the oil already acts like a moisturizer. So it's not necessary to use, if you have an oily skin type, a moisturizer on top. But see what works the best on your skin. See also what feels the best. Try it once without a moisturizer, try it with moisturizer, see what feels the best and works the best. If you have a little bit more towards a drier, dehydrated to normal skin type, maybe also combination skin type as I do have myself, then you may want to use the moisturizer all over your face and neck since it feels dry and tight. Or if you have a combination skin, you may just want to use it where you really feel the need. You don't have to use it all over your face. And for me, for example, I have an oilier forehead as well as oilier nose area, but the cheeks and mouth area are fairly dry. So you don't have to use it where you get the oiliness, but you can use it where you feel it dry and tight, or maybe also dehydrated. So when using the moisturizer all over your face and neck, I recommend using about a pea-size amount. However, I'm just going to use it where I really feel the need, which is on the drier parts, and so therefore I'm going to use a bit less. And I'm just going to use it where I feel the need. But of course, you can also go ahead and use it all over your face and neck if you like to. Using a moisturizer and also what type of moisturizer you're using is very individual. So if you have one that you truly love, go ahead and use that one. If you're new to moisturizers and you aren't sure what you can use, I used, for example, the Ordinary Natural Moisturizing Factors. If you have oily skin, you may not feel the need to use a moisturizer at all, and that's totally fine. So if you're done now with your serum application, you can move on to your moisturizer. If you don't want to use a moisturizer, your serum will be your last step. Now this could be, for example, a great PM skincare routine. However, if you want to use it in the morning, since the 2% BHA liquid exfoliant can also make the skin sensitive to the sun, it is highly recommended that when using it in the morning to also finish it off as your last step with a good sunscreen. And I'm going to use the La Roche-Posay sunscreen. That's one that I truly love, that also works great on my skin. However, if you have a different sunscreen, go ahead and use your sunscreen as your last step in your AM skincare routine. Now when applying your sunscreen, please make sure that you're applying it everywhere where your skin is being exposed to the sun, and so that you also not forget your neck area, all over your face, your ears, as well as also behind, so that you really can also protect the skin when being exposed to the sun. And this is also really important, like this is more important than using a moisturizer. Most sunscreens already include some moisturizing benefits, so using a moisturizer is optional. If you have a moisturizer that includes already SPF, that's also fine too. It's like the 2-in-1. If you have a sunscreen that feels also great when not using a moisturizer, that's totally fine. So please make sure to also find the right sunscreen for your needs. With this sunscreen, for example, that I'm currently using, I do not feel that it's necessary to use a moisturizer underneath, but it also doesn't make a difference. But it also feels already moisturizing enough when also using it on its own, for example. But this is of course individual. See what works the best. Try it without and with moisturizer when using your sunscreen. And then depending on what feels the best, that's the one that you're going to choose, the method that you're going to choose. But I do also want to make sure that I'm including each step so that you know how you can also follow the steps And the steps that are basically optional, such as the toner, also your moisturizer, or the sunscreen if you're using it in the PM routine, those are steps that you can also leave out depending on your skin and needs and depending also on your preference. However, when also using the exfoliant and the serum, then it's important that you know that you also can go ahead and use, for example, your cleanser as your first step, move on immediately to the leave-on exfoliant, then move on to your serum and then your sunscreen in the morning. That's also one way on how you can do it. You don't have to keep it complicated, but it is really important that you know how you can properly layer them. And so now that I have applied the sunscreen all over, that's basically the last step for the AM skincare routine. You don't need to use sunscreen in the evening. I do also want to address that, since you're going to do your PM skincare routine just before going to bed. And this is also what I wanted to share with you. This is also how you can combine the Paula's Choice 2% BHA liquid exfoliant with the niacinamide product. And I do also hope that you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, if you find it helpful, please also don't forget to give the thumbs up as well as share it. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next one. Happy skincaring. Bye.